Okay, so I want to walk through exactly how I set up an internal team skills tracker in ClickUp. And the reason that we have this set up, we use this for our entire production team working with any clients so that our project manager can look at what skills each member of the team has and knows exactly which tasks to assign them to, and then can correlate that with capacity or resource management planning. So let's jump in. I first have this hiring space set up. You can put this in any space you want. I'm going to create a brand new list. We're just going to call this skills tracker. And once that list is created, we'll close this. And then we're going to add a table view. All right, and this is going to give us more of like a spreadsheet setup look. So it's really easy to almost create like a pseudo dashboard for this. So now we have our list, which is always required, and our table view, and then we can pen this as our primary view. Awesome. Okay, so now what we want to go in here is we can hide the assignee. We don't need that. We can hide the status. We also don't need that. We don't need the due date. And we don't need the column. The second view that we're going to set up in here is the form view. And what this is going to allow us to do is to create a form. So now every time we hire somebody or bring on a contractor or a freelancer, we can essentially automate this as part of the team member onboarding so that they're going to get a link directly to this form. And then they're going to be able to fill out this form and answer questions about the skills that they have. So before I complete this form, I think it's a little bit easier to see it in the table view. So I'm going to start adding some new columns for different skills that they might have. We'll make it a drop down. We'll call this one ClickUp. And then we're going to say, let's see, beginner, intermediate, and expert. And then we'll color these however you would like. So we'll give beginner a nice slate gray, I guess. And intermediate, we can warm up with a little bit of a blue. And then I like doing expert as like a super bright color to make it stand out. So now these really kind of divide, make it really clear between each other. And I've got to move my face here. All right, so now we have our ClickUp field. We would do the same thing. We could actually come in here and duplicate this field, and then we're going to edit and rename it. So we could say ClickUp. We might want to know how people are in Sheets. And I'll do one more. We'll duplicate this. We'll edit this. And maybe one more skill that we'd want to know would be HubSpot. All right, cool. Now they all have those same options. If I look at edit field, they all have the same coloring, beginner, intermediate, and expert. And now when we go back to our form, we can drag the task name in here, but we don't want it to be task name. This would be your name. And so when we're sending this out to the person that we're bringing on, they're going to fill this out. They're going to put in their name. We're going to make this required. We now see we have our custom fields down here. So we're going to go to ClickUp and Sheets and HubSpot. And we're going to add these three here. And we'll just add a quick description. Please fill out your name and the skill levels you have for each of the platforms listed below. Perfect. All right, so we want to make sure all of these are required, and they will either just leave blank if they don't have anything. And I could even note that here, leave blank if you do not know the, platform. Perfect. All right, cool. That's really all we need to do. So if we go into view mode, we can see, actually, we might want to say keep fields full width. So now when we go into view mode, we can see we could enter a name. I'll put my name in here and click up. Sheets, let's just say I'm intermediate, and then HubSpot a beginner. And if I submit this and go back to the table view, we now have the first person and exactly my skill sets for each of these. So you can imagine across a team and across a wide variety of platforms or skills that you would want your team to have, you can have them take this self-assessment to fill this all out. We mentioned this in a recent podcast episode, but there's always the question of, well, what if they don't assess well, self-assess well? And really what that means is they're going to think they're experts. They're going to get assigned a task. And then you're going to find out right away that they're not experts or intermediate or beginner. And so you can come in and adjust it, or your project manager can come in and adjust it. But this gives you a starting point. It makes it super easy. And of course, as you were to have multiple people fill this out, it would be a really nice, easy dashboard to see, okay, we need somebody who's an expert in ClickUp. Who do we have? We have these options. All right, now we look at capacity. Does Micah have capacity to work on this in the deadline that we're looking for? Yes or no? If no, go to the next expert, etc., and just work through there. Super, super handy, super easy to build, and super easy to automate out through your client or your employee onboarding.